Tov, everybody. So I've switched into my private room, and now instead of, well, I still have wine bottles apparently in my wall, but now I have a bicycle wheel as a window for my patio. So I've had my breakfast, moved to this room, and now I'm getting ready to go out and get some supplies before Shabbat rolls in this afternoon. So I found the commercial center of Mitzpe Ramon. This is pretty much it. There's a few stores here. There's supposed to be a supermarket just over there. And the town council offices are probably not that building, which is under construction, but over there somewhere. And there's a really pretty little fountain in the middle of nowhere. It says it's an ecological fountain, but my Hebrew is not good enough to continue reading the rest of the explanation of what it does. I assume that it's somehow been designed so that it uses the water maximally in terms of the desert and the plants around. And it's really beautiful because there are lots of trees, and there was a little park area back there that I just walked by with picnic tables and lots of shade and stuff. So it's really nice. Definitely a small town. And now I have to find a memory card, an SD card, because I'm running out of memory again. Really? Everybody's like, no, you're not going to need that much memory. Oh yeah. Well, I almost despaired of finding a memory card in Mitzpe Ramon, but I found one in a random little corner store, supermarket type of store. And my search for the perfect shakshuka continues. Or shakshuka, apparently it's properly pronounced. With bread and olives and tahini. It's a little cafe in the south of Mitzpe Ramon called Daroma, which means south. Or to the south, toward the south. So, we're gonna see how this shakshuka measures up. I think I did it. I think I found the perfect shakshuka. The eggs looked a little bit overdone at first, but they're perfect. Nice and soft and gooey in the middle. And the bread and the tahini are perfect. Yeah, and the tomato sauce is nice, good and spicy, and it's everything's just a little bit al dente, just how I like it. So I think I may have found my perfect shakshuka. Pretty quiet day looking for lunch and groceries, and then chilling out doing some videos, so there hasn't been much to show you today, but maybe we'll get a little bit of a walk about town tomorrow morning. It's Shabbat, but right now I'm ready for bed, so Laila Tov. Boker Tov, everyone. Okay, so this is my private room at the Eco Lodge. You can see the mud walls and the plywood walls. It's just a couple of beds in the room, nothing fancy, but that's really all I need for my sleep. It's actually very comfortable, and I've slept super well. And I'm so sorry I slept so well that I couldn't do the sunrise this morning. We're really on the sort of the home stretch now from Mitzpe Ramon to Eilat. That's kind of it. I can see the prize, and I'm really excited now because I feel that, I'll still have to make some adjustments, but I feel that I can do it. then we're just gonna have a big party on the beach. I have no idea what we're gonna do, but I've told all the hikers that, you know, anybody who's in the Eilat area is all invited to my birthday party. So still no idea what that's gonna entail, but it will involve the beach and chocolate for sure. So we'll see. And today we're just going to go and walk around and see some more of the sites, get some more views of the crater from Mitzpe Ramon, and hang out and do some more editing so that I have some videos to get out to you guys until I am able to hunker down after Eilat and finish off the rest of them. So the other thing they have here at this eco camp, eco lodge, is they have like this kitchen area. And you can sit here and have your lunch and food. And they have a whole kitchen set up here. I've got a couple of fridges, stoves, and area to wash your dishes. And then I guess people, if they have extra stuff, I think they leave stuff behind. So I'll probably be leaving some of my extra food behind so I don't have to carry it with me. And just a really kind of cool setup for people who are traveling on a budget. All right, I've had some breakfast, filled up my water bottle, and we're ready to go touring. And there's the sculpture garden. I want to go and see. Actually, there's something called the sound sculpture or sound something or other. So I want to go see what that's all about. And then we're going to go take a look at some of the lookouts over the crater. But the problem is today, as you can probably see, it's kind of a hazy day. You can't really see much. So that's not very helpful. But now, if you're not into walking from one end of Israel to the other, you can always take the Israel bike trail. Not to say that it's going to be easy either. There's a lot of elevation changes and you're riding in the desert and you have to be prepared for that. But hey, why not? If biking is your style, then give that a go. Alright, I'm in the sound park and I'm so confused. So it's like this, I don't know, agglomeration of swings hanging from these things, and I guess you're supposed to sit in the swing, and then, I don't know, do you hear sounds? The problem is, it probably depends on the wind, and today it seems that, along with everybody else, the wind has also decided to take a Shabbat rest. It's pretty windy out here in the desert most of the time, I've noticed. And so I really noticed the calm today. Maybe it'll pick up a little bit, but I'm sorry, I don't get it. Or maybe the deal is you sit in the swing with your buddies and like it's something about talking to your buddies and how you hear the sound. I don't know. I really don't know. There's no explanation that I can find. So I don't have any buddies, so I can't test that theory. But there's a family approaching, so I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to test this, so maybe we'll find out. Well, I don't get it. Everybody's swinging on the swings. And yeah, sure, they're making a lot of sound. But I just don't get it. It's fun for kids. And for not so kids too, I guess. But I still don't get the sound part connection. Now, I don't know how well you can see this behind me, but the town soccer pitch is way overgrown. And it's bright green, which seems kind of strange in the desert, but I actually noticed this on the bus ride on the way here, was that there were some spots along the road, just beside the road, where there was like green, it wasn't grass, but some kind of growth, and I think it's actually all because of about 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, when everybody got off the trails because of those storm warnings. The rain actually came down in the Sinai and probably a little bit around here as well, is where most of the rain came. So I think that that's probably all related to those rains from 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's really nice to see a little bit of green in the desert, and we're going to see a little bit more. We're headed over towards that little foresty thing. This is the sort of shaded picnic area that I was telling you about. It's not exactly a forest. On the map it's called the KKL Grove. The KKL is a foundation that, from what I recall, that works towards reforesting areas of Israel and planting trees in Israel to help improve the lives of people, the climate, and reduce erosion and everything, all that good stuff that trees do. Not to mention the oxygen benefits and all that, changing carbon dioxide into oxygen. And so they do a lot of really good work, from what I understand, improving the landscape in Israel. And this is one of their projects, and it's called the KKL Grove in Mitzpe Ramon. And it's just, you can see people are kind of starting to arrive for their Shabbat family picnics. I guess it's probably about 11 in the morning, 10:30, 11, and more people will start coming, I imagine, seeing as it's Shabbat. So, nice little spot of shade in the desert where there's not enough. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the what I was referring to, the KKL. It's the Keren Kayemet LeYisrael. There's also a memorial here in the center of town for the 6 million who were lost in the Holocaust between 1933 and 1945. We're back at the visitor center where we were on that first day while I was waiting to check in. And I just wanted to point something out that I neglected to mention last time. So over there, that's the town of Mitzpe Ramon. So you can see it's a small town in the middle of the desert. But there's still a significant population here. And over there, if I'm pointing in the right place, is the planetarium. So because of the conditions here, the climatic conditions and everything, it's really great for viewing the stars at night. So they have a planetarium and an observatory here, which is kind of cool. Something I didn't even notice last time. So right over there where you see those kids with helmets on, there's a spot you can go rappelling down the side of the crater. Okay, I'm probably not that crazy. And there's a Shvil marker, so we're gonna do a little bit of Shvil hiking today, just without the pack. So I told you that the hostels here are pretty nice. There's different organizations and different hostel sort of affiliations, and they all have a different sort of demographic, I guess. I've been staying this time at some of the smaller independent hostels that I don't normally stay at, that I really hadn't heard about before, including the one at Jisr Zarqa and this Desert Shade one that I'm staying at here. But there's also the sort of larger internationally affiliated hostels, like the one at Engedi where I normally stay, and then this one here in Mitzpe Ramon. This is the Hosteling International Youth Hostel, and it looks like they're expanding. And so like I say, they're great places to stay and not overly expensive. These ones are, the Hosteling International ones are generally more expensive, I would say, than the independent ones where I've been staying. But they're still a good deal more reasonable than staying in one of the hotels. So if that works into your budget in traveling in Israel, whether you're doing the Shvil or otherwise, I highly recommend the hostels. Kids. I followed the Shvil markers from the visitors center, which is over there, and the view again is stunning, but I'm not even at the lookout yet. The markers take me to this lookout, and that's where I'm going to go check out the view. Looks like the lookout point is closed. The floor looks a little bit worse for the wear, so probably just better that way. But even so, the views here are stunning, and the path continues along the side of the crater, so I'm sure we'll get more views. But let me just show you. Hopefully the exposure will be okay. Just out there, all that is the bottom of the crater. And then on the other side, you can sort of, in the haze, you can see the other edge of the crater. It's just too bad that it's hazy again today. So it's just really hard to see much. But even what you can see just on the bottom of the crater is really amazing. The other thing I wanted to point out was over by the visitors center, those ibex that I saw yesterday, there was a whole bunch of them just now, and there were some people feeding them, and I had half a mind to actually take some video of them feeding them, but I thought it would probably be better not to. But really, there's signs all over the place, like this one, that explain that we don't feed the ibex because feeding the ibex leads to their death, and along with littering as well. So I really wish that people would not feed wild animals, even if they seem to be tame, because they're not. They're wild animals, and they're supposed to feed on the food that nature gave them. So just a point. I didn't want to shame those people, but you know, I almost I almost felt like I wanted to do that, just to hopefully stop people from doing stuff like this, because they're wild animals. I don't know what else to say. Anyways, there you see the barrier that says it's closed. Just too bad, but I'd rather not go out there when the floor looks the way it does. So let's move on. The Shvil markers continue to take us on to a couple of further lookout points. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go find me some lunch. And another funky sculpture. This one, from this side, it just looks like a pair of lips. And then you go to the other side, and you get half of a guy's face. So I don't know who that's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be Moshe or somebody else? I have no idea. But the beard kind of makes me think Moshe. This is what I wanted to show you, and it's you can see it very clearly here. The difference in the kinds of terrain on the Shvil. So that section of trail right there, which you can see very clearly, is very easy going. There's a couple of day hikers down that have just passed it down there. and they're getting into some rougher territory there. But the section up here that we're looking at right now is fairly flat. It's kind of gravelly, not hard hiking. Then those hikers are kind of picking their way through a bit of a rock field. But then you go further on over here, and it's just complete rockiness, and you have to go and watch every single step you take so that you don't stub your toe, twist your ankle, and this is what I'm talking about the difference, about how sometimes the territory or the terrain can be really tough going. And that's not even some of the worst of it that you're looking at right now. It can be very, very challenging and really slow you down. But this is just a really good spot to see the difference between the two. Here's another lookout point that I'm coming up to, and as usual, another strange sculpture. And oh, I even missed a sculpture. How did I miss that one? There's another sculpture up there. Let me see if I can point it right there. All kinds of sculptures all along the way here. Now the little shortcut to the Shvil that I would take if I were going to start from here on tomorrow morning, it starts from just back there. But I've pretty much decided that I'm going to do what I had planned and make it a Nero day. Hitchhike up closer to the campsite for the night and then start first thing on the morning on Monday. But the other thing that I wanted to point out is over there is something called Camel Hill. That's another lookout point, and as you may or may not be able to see, I might have to get you a better shot. It looks distinctly like a camel lying down. Hence the name Camel Hill. I would actually head over there. The Shvil goes right by there, except for the fact that it's getting to be 11 o'clock and the sun is starting to get high enough that I'm getting a little bit concerned about my skin on my poor toes getting sunburned. So I think that's enough looking for today. The view is going to be just as spectacular as everywhere else along this way. It's a little bit higher up, so it might even be better, but it kind of goes around the corner a little bit. It gives you a different view of a different section of the crater, but it won't give you the view of the large sort of main part of the crater over here. But yeah, it's going to be just as hazy over there. So I think that's pretty good. We've got some nice views for today, and we're going to go find me some lunch. The other point behind my strategy to go find me some lunch now is that it's Shabbat, and there's very few places that are open. So I'm hoping that if I go for an early lunch, I have a better chance of beating the rush. This is actually another thing I've noticed and I wanted to point out. I think I might have seen some of these in the north, but not so much. And I've really noticed them in the south, and I think it's a great idea, especially in a climate like this. A lot of the public spaces are covered by these sort of shade, roofings. So it's still open, you're out in the open, but you've got some shade where there otherwise wouldn't be any shade. And it's mostly around like children's playgrounds tend to all have these, which is awesome. And then some other sort of public spaces like this one. And I think that's great. It means that you can get out, you can be outside, but still be in the shade and not be burnt by the sun and stuff. So really great idea, and I love it. Well, I think I made the right decision. It wasn't completely crowded, but it was definitely busy. And I had a lovely omelette sandwich with limonana. And I can't believe that it took me 2 months in getting to the desert to remember my favorite drink in Israel. I've been away way too long. The weather is actually very deceptive today, so in the sun, like I am now, the sun is very hot on my back, but it's not like overall very hot. And in the shade, it's actually quite cool. But you still have to carry all your water because, you know, the little bit of breeze and the sun, you just don't even notice when you're sweating and so you really, and drying out. So you really need to be careful out here. But the nights have been getting much cooler, like I think I said before. And I was quite comfortable in my eco camp yesterday, or last night. But definitely once I get out back into the night camps over the next few days, then I will need to be sleeping in my sleeping bag to keep warm. And wearing my puffy jacket. So I'm really glad that I brought all that stuff because I could have easily not even thought about that. It's in the desert, and fortunately it's not July or August. I'm walking on the highway back to the eco camp, and I just saw this plant. It looked really interesting to me because just like kind of up north where you remember the red Idaho potatoes, this one is like the plant itself is, the stem and the branches are kind of a bush, I guess. They're pretty much red, and the leaves, it just looks fake. It looks like plastic, and it feels like plastic, but it's not. But it has these ginormous, look at that, thorns, like this one right here, huge. So yeah, I don't understand what it is with the plants in the desert. Everything is so prickly. Look at those. Oh man. And I dropped my water bottle, of course. It just is so strange. I don't know who would be eating these plants in the desert, that they would need to be prickly to protect themselves, but they are. I mean, other than, I guess, the ibex, but the ibex need food too. So, I don't know. But everything, everything from those bramble bushes and thorn bushes that I was climbing through up Beit Hanania and Jusosavka, and everything is just prickly. The cactuses, everything. It's a very harsh environment on all levels. Well, for my last dinner in Mitzpe, I'm in a place in the Spice Roads quarter called Incense. Nice little play on words. And since I'm in the desert, I decided to order the desert tasting menu. I hope you saw that. So, it smells delicious. And yeah, hopefully, I'm sure it is equally delicious. So I'm back from dinner, and just one small snafu. The dish, okay, so first of all, for starters, I'm in the desert, so I had to take the desert taster menu, right? I said that already. Okay, so the little taster dish that I thought was tuna, yeah, not exactly. It was liver. And you know, I'm the kosher ovo vegan pescatarian. So yeah, that didn't go over very well with me. But other than that, the dishes were absolutely to die for. It was crazy delicious, and I ordered the vegan chocolate truffles afterwards, and they gave me like so much, and I ate like most of it there. I shouldn't have, because of course, vegan or not, it has sugar in it, so which I'm not supposed to eat. But anyways, and I had to bring the rest of it home. I should have actually brought more of it home rather than ate it there, but either way it has to get eaten because it's gonna melt in the desert. So yeah. Anyways, all in all, a fairly good day, low key. Tomorrow we get back on the Shvil and it's gonna be a Nero day. I've planned to cut it down just to prepare myself and not overload myself for the following 2 days, which won't give me much of an opportunity to shorten them. So tomorrow I can. So I think it's a good way to get back on the Shvil after a few days of rest. So that's what I'm gonna do. And for now, Laila Tov.